All right.
Whenever you're ready, Al, we're recording.
All righty. So 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Legends Lingo podcast, episode 113, presented by Couch Guys Sports. As always, check out everything on couchguysports.com, from all the great blogs that we write to the podcast that we record to our Twitch channel where we play video games, put podcasts up, and everything else in between, and our YouTube channel with all of our great shows and maybe some even more shows coming on in the future. Go check all that out. I'm your host, Alan Hegan. Alongside me, as always, Tom Powder Cadmus. Powder, how are you?
I'm good. Getting excited for opening day a week from Thursday. We'll have the MLB opening day. Couldn't be more excited.
Very, very, very true. So opening day, 1 week away. I think, is it March 31st or April 1st? It's
April 1st.
That's what I thought. So it's April 1st. I'm excited. I'm actually going to be in parent-teacher conferences that day.
Oh.
So I'm not going to be able to, follow the games. You're going to have to, text me, with score updates with the Red Sox game, because that's the one game that I really care about, obviously. Yeah. But tonight, we are continuing our tryouts for our third co-hosting role. This guy has been a shooting star in Couch Guy Sports since we brought him on. Yes, I did say that. We brought on Matty Desrosiers, Matty Kiwan. I don't even know if I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize.
No, see, this is the type of guy, and let me introduce myself real quick. I'm the type of guy who gets a nickname that's harder to say than his actual last name.
This is true.
So, Desrosiers, Kiwoom, I guess I'm 0 for 2. Maybe I'll have to have something else. Go back to the drawing board or something.
Did I mess up the last name too?
No. You were on point with the last name. It was the Kiwoom. I guess not. You guys aren't KBO guys?
No
Korean baseball organization watching for you two gentlemen? No? Okay.
Nah, sorry, bud. But here, Matt, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
All right, so I just started doing some content here with Couch Guy Sports not long ago, just doing fantasy baseball. I'm a huge baseball guy in general, but fantasy baseball is a huge passion of mine. So started doing some articles. We got a podcast, High Heat Fantasy Baseball. Check that out every Thursday. Kevin Predios and I, we're in the thick of rankings talk. Actually, this week will be our last rankings talk, and then next week is go time. So yeah, I'm very excited. I've been doing content now for quite a while. I just do Red Sox and some Celtic stuff over the Boston Sports Syndicate. So shout out to those guys. It's great getting a chance to work with Couch Guy Sports and to come on Legends Lingo. Alan, Powder, I'm pumped, man.
We can tell we love the enthusiasm. The enthusiasm goes well with us. So You're on the right track. So we are three big baseball guys, as you can tell from the beginning. Powder. Baseball's been our bread and butter.
It has. Definitely has.
That's been the one thing where you and I come together. We used to talk baseball, even outside of the Red Sox. But then, direction of the podcast changed, which is okay. Yep. We're going to go back to our roots tonight, especially with Matty joining us, who's a big baseball guy himself. And we have a little bit of Celtic stuff that we want to talk about. But plain and simple, boys, it's just going to be very simple. We are going to go through each division. And all we're going to do is we're going to pick a winner and we're going to say why. Pretty simple enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Matty, you are our guest.
Okay.
You are a baseball guy. Which division would you like to go through first?
I say let's start it off with a bang. Let's keep it local. Let's go with the AL East right off the bat, baby.
AL East right off the bat. So, in the AL East, obviously, Red Sox, Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays, Orioles.
Yeah.
This division, it's so tough to pick. But you know what? My pick is going to be I hate to do this, but I think the Yankees take the division this year. I really do. I think with the Rays, just that offense doesn't really wow me. I mean, I know they made it to the World Series last year. I understand that, but I just think this is the year the Yankees take that step to win the division. So I got Yankees in the AL East. That's just me. We'll go to Powder, then we'll go to Matty. Powder, go ahead.
I have to agree with you with the Yankees, but I think it's going to be a lot tighter of a division race than people give it credit for. I think 1 through 4 is going to be very, very good. I think the Yankees, if they're healthy, I think they're one of the best teams, and not best team in all of baseball. I think they compete with the Dodgers talent-wise, but that's a question every year that you have to have. Aaron Judge hasn't had a full season since 2017. What are we going to get out of him? Besides Cole, what is the other pitchers going to get? Going to do? the Rays, I think losing Snell is a huge loss, but I think the Rays always somehow have pitching and look good from guys who you've never heard of. And then the Blue Jays, I think, are going to be very good, but I think they're a year or two away from where they want to be. And then the Red Sox, they're going to be sneaky. But like Al said, I think the Yankees are just too good for this division. I think they're going to take it.
I do too. I think how can you pick against the Yankees? I don't know. Unless, Matty, what do you got for us, man?
All right. So, I mean, you guys made some good points. And, Powder, when you bring up the Blue Jays, I couldn't agree with you more because I do feel like they're a little overrated. They're very green, very young, and their pitching's, is a question mark, much like all the teams in the AL East. And I do think 1 through 5, and I'm including the Orioles because they're not going to be good, but any up and coming team can be pesky, and pesky just, muddies the waters. They're all kind of have their plus and minuses, and because of kind of the parity within the division in terms of talent, I'm going Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are going to win the East and shock everybody.
Love it.
I do.
2 weeks in a row where we have our could be potential new co-hosts coming on here and just throwing a splash right away.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Matty. Listen, I hope the Red Sox win the division. I do think real quick, I think the Red Sox are going to be sneaky good this year because nobody's expecting them to do anything, but they made some low-key good signings. Marwin Gonzalez, Kike Hernandez, Garrett Richards hopefully will pan out, Matt Andres in the bullpen. And don't forget, you're going to have Chris Sale coming back at some point, so that bolsters the rotation right there. So 2 Yankees and a Red Sox. It's unfortunate 2 Red Sox fans picked the Yankees, but whatever. It is what it is. Pop, what division you want to do next?
Let's go National League. I think probably the worst division in baseball, but I think it'll be a fun race is the NL Central.
NL Central. Okay, so in the NL Central, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm just firing off the hip here. NL Central, we got the Cardinals, we got the Cubs, we got the Reds, we got the Pirates, and then who's the team I'm missing? Brewers, right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Matty, why don't you go first this round, and then we'll just go reverse order.
Powder, again, I'm going to have to agree with you, man. You're hitting all the nails right there on the head. It is the worst division probably on all of baseball. I'm going to go with the Brewers for just 3 key reasons. They got the 2 really good pitchers at the top of the rotation in Burns and Woodruff. They have 2 studs in the bullpen in Hader and Williams. And they have one of the better hitters in all of the league in Christian Yelich. So for those reasons, I got to go Brewers.
I'm very close to taking, I think the Brewers and Cardinals are going to duke it out for the division. I just think the Cardinals find a way to win, like in 11 when they won the World Series. They just snuck in, and I think their pedigree is just going to take them there. They have Yachty back and Wainwright back. I think they're going to just find a way to win the division, but I think it's going to be like 1 or 2 games. I think it's going to be very close.
I have the Pittsburgh Pirates taking Kumar Rocker with the first pick in the MLB draft. Real though, in the NL,
got him.
Got him. In the NL Central, you know what? I got to go with the Cardinals as well, just because I think that Nolan Arenado trade is going to put them over the hump, and the Cubs got significantly worse. I mean, they are not going to be as good as they've been from probably 2015 on, like 2015, 2019, right around that time frame. The Cardinals, man, just like Powder said, they just find a way to get it done. And you know what? Yeah. If Nolan Arenado can be the difference, now hopefully his Coors Field stats might help him a little bit. Hopefully he can put up the same production. But I'm going with the Cardinals, and I'm just going to stick with it. So 2 divisions down. I'm going to pick the next one. You know what? I'm going to go with the fun one. We're just going to go all over the map here. I'm going to go the American League West.
Okay.
That's going to be a fun one. Powder, I'll let you go first. Who do you got winning the American League West?
I think this is another fun division, but I just think the Oakland A's just offensively, they have a ton of talent. I think Matt Olson's going to be MVP candidate this year. I just think he's going to have a huge year. And Matt Chapman just won, him and Nolan Arenado both being from the same high school, both being the 2 best defenders in all of baseball. And I think he's going to be good. And I think the pitching staff is young, but I think they're good. So I think the A's are just going to take it. But I think the Astros are going to be hungry again. But I was hoping the Angels would get some pitching, but of course they didn't. So Angels, I think, will be third place, but I'll take the A's.
All right. Matty?
Matt Olson, definitely going to be a fantasy stud. So, I got to bring up fantasy. I can't help myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
Please.
I can't help it.
Educate us, please.
Yeah. Matt Olson's having a dynamite spring, and I think he's going to have a ridiculous 2021. But I'm actually picking the LA Angels of Anaheim to win the division. They have the best player in baseball. They have potentially really dangerous lineup because Ohtani and Rendon. They brought in Jose Iglesias, who's sneaky good with the bat. As the last couple of years, they brought in Kurt Suzuki, who's another veteran presence that could just really help that lineup. And if Ohtani can give him some really quality innings on the hill, I mean, now you're talking about a little bit better pitching staff. They brought in Jose Quintana, who's having a good spring, Dylan Bundy. So I think the Angels are going to win the West.
I got to go with Matty. You sold me. I'm going with the A's for all the reasons you just said.
You mean Angels?
Yeah.
Angels, yeah, whatever.
Way to hedge your bets there, Alan.
Yeah, for real. If you have Mike Trout on your baseball team, along with Shohei Ohtani, who's no slouch either, I got to go with the Angels. I have to go with the Angels, man. You just convinced me. You literally sold me with that explanation. There's no other reason. I'm picking the Angels because Matty D told me to. Plain and simple.
I want to see Trout. I want to see Trout in the playoffs so bad. Like
that's great.
Does.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
For real.
I think we're all ready for that.
Yeah.
I agree. Matty, we're back to you. What division you want to do next?
Let's keep it on the West Coast. Let's go NL West.
NL West. Okay, so for the NL West, we have the Giants, we have the Padres, we have the Dodgers, and we have the Diamondbacks.
And the
Rockies. And the Rockies. And Rockies.
Yeah.
They don't count. They don't count as a baseball team. Not anymore anyway. The Rockies. LOL. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm going to go with, it's hard to pick against the, actually, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going with the Padres. Slam Diego. Give it to me right now. Fernando Tatis. And they have built up that pitching staff, man. That starting rotation. And especially in 2022, when they get Clevenger back. Oh, my goodness. Is that pitching staff competes with the Dodgers. I think they're a shoo-in for 2022 as long as they stay healthy. But even for 2021, I think they make a run at it. So I'm going with the Padres in the West. Let's go to Matty and then to Powder.
I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I just can't bet against them. They're an elite team with an elite roster. I do see a scenario where the Padres win.
That's a square pick, Matty.
Listen, they're not all fastballs. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to throw some jalapeno on the ball and throw some breaking pitch. You know what I mean? You mix it up.
That's an 85-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle.
That's it's pretty straight. Well, regardless, you know what I mean?
I do.
But I can see the Padres winning, and here's the main reason why. I can see the Padres wanting it more, and not necessarily in that like dirt dog, like get after it way. More in like if the Dodgers take their foot off the gas, if the Dodgers rest some pitching so that they're ready for the playoffs, the Padres could sneak in, grab a few games, and that could be the difference of a division.
Okay. Powder?
I have to go Dodgers. I heard that Tatis left the game. I hope it's nothing serious today. So I'm praying that it's nothing serious, but I have to go with the Dodgers. They're just too good. But like Matty just said, if it's like, what was it, 2017 or was it 2018 where the Dodgers started like 19-31 or whatever it was. And I think if the Dodgers have one of those starts like that, the Padres are going to take this and won't even be close because they won't let their foot off the gas. But I just think the Dodgers adding Bauer and I think Bellinger is going to have a bounce back year. I just think Seager's on a mission to prove that he's the best shortstop in baseball because a lot of people, because of his injuries, were doubting him, wrote him off, and then you saw the playoffs he had. I just think the Dodgers have too much talent top to bottom, rotation, bullpen, lineup, and they won the World Series, and they won it for a reason.
This is very true. Very, very true. You guys make good points. This is going to be such a fun season. We have two more divisions that we're going to cover. Powder, why don't you pick the next one?
Let's do probably the best division in baseball in the NL East. That's my favorite division.
Yeah. The NL East. So we got the Marlins. I almost said the Dolphins because I got football in the brain so much. But Miami Marlins, Atlanta Braves, excuse me, New York Mets and Washington Nationals.
And Philadelphia Phillies.
They're not important either. The teams that I don't say, they're just not important. But just kidding. So the NL East, this I agree, I think is going to be the most entertaining division to watch, because realistically, I think there are 3 teams that have a chance to win it. So I'm going to defer to Matty first, and then to Powder, and then to myself. So Matty, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to go with the New York Mets because I just believe in Jacob deGrom. I think their pitching staff in general is pretty strong. I love what I'm seeing on Marcus Stroman this spring. And I just think when you add a guy like a Francisco Lindor, a superstar, somebody who I believe is going to take that next step, because being in a market like that can give, a player like him energy. So, and I think they, bringing in Trevor May to pair up with Diaz and Bestances and the guys in the pen, I think they're good enough to win. It's going to be a great battle in the NL East. And I think this is the year maybe the Mets come out on top.
The Mets need it, because the Mets have been a franchise that have been
really
cursed. Shout out Frank the Tank Fleming from Barstool, that needs to have something good happen in his life.
Yeah.
He needs it badly. So
Yes.
Maddie's going with the Mets. I'll go next, and then Powder. See, I'm torn between 2 teams, but you know what? I like the youth movement. I'm going with the Atlanta Braves. I think the Braves, just with Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, I think they're ready to take the next step to being a true contender in the National League. I think that with that young core in place, you add a pitcher or 2, and they have some decent starting pitching. It's not going to overpower you. It's not going to be like a top 5, I'd say, rotation. But if you can add maybe another arm, then you're really talking about having a good shot in the National League. So I'm going Braves. Powder.
Hey, real quick, Al, you want
Yes.
to talk about 85-mile-an-hour fastballs right down the heart of the plate? That was yours, buddy. The Atlanta Braves and the AL and the NL East.
They got the Nationals in there too. The Dodgers, yours was worse because the Dodgers won the World Series last year.
Fair point.
I did take the square pick on that one, so good call out.
What'd you do? There we go.
The L7 weenie, just
There
like
we
in
go.
Sandlot. L7 weenie. Go ahead, Powder.
I'm gonna have to go with Maddie. I'm gonna go the Mets. I just think, like I said about NL Central and stuff like that, it's just gonna be a tight division race between the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies, even the Marlins. Yeah, not a lot of people saw them making the playoffs last year, but I think they're gonna be sneaky good and find a way to win a lot of games in that division. I think whoever takes the division, like I said, the Mets, I think they're going to be very good in the playoffs, because it's going to be a tough road to get there. Even the Nationals had a down year last year, but their pitching staff is loaded. But the Mets just have too much talent, and I think Lindor being in a big market, like Matty said, and especially the Mets wanting him long term. You knew the Indians didn't want him long term; they didn't want to pay him. Where the Mets want to pay him and want to pay him big, so I think he's going to have an MVP caliber season and help the Mets make it to the playoffs and just beat the Atlanta Braves out for the division title.
I do love Lindor on the Mets, man. I think that was a great.
Yeah.
That's about the only good thing that's happened to the Mets this offseason, because they have had a rough offseason.
Yeah.
Very rough with everything behind the scenes. But final division that we are going to go over, the AL Central. Now, I'm going to throw out a little bold claim here. I think this is the most interesting division. I'm not saying it's the best, but I think it's the most interesting, because when you break down the teams, you have the Cleveland baseball team. I'm not calling them the Indians. I'm calling them the Cleveland baseball team.
Great catch. I was even thinking, I forgot they were changing the name.
Got to use the old noodle for something sometimes, but don't use it after 8:00. So we have the Cleveland baseball team. We have the Chicago White Sox, the Minnesota Twins, Kansas City Royals, and Detroit Tigers. Now, here's the reason why I say it's interesting. We just talked about it. Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco, by the way, good starting pitcher. No longer on the Indians. The Cleveland baseball team. See, I fessed up.
It's not 8 o'clock yet, so what's your excuse?
Yeah, fair point. So the Cleveland baseball team, they're probably going to be the Spiders, which is just going to be a weird name. The Cleveland Spiders? Like, really?
The hats are cool, though.
Yeah.
The hats are pretty sweet, so I'm down with it.
The hats
I'm a
are
hat
good.
guy.
I was a hat guy. I don't know. I just don't wear hats anymore. I got to get back into that.
Okay.
But the Cleveland baseball team, they should be taking a major downfall this year, which would mean that a team on the south side of Chicago would take a rise up and fly up the standings, because I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm going with the Chicago White Sox in the Central this year. I think this is the year, with all that talent that they have, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Yasmani Grandal. They have a ton of talent, not just young, but veteran talent too. Yep. Lucas Giolito leading your staff.
Yeah.
This is
MVP, Jose Abreu.
Yep. Jose Abreu, AL MVP. That's right. So the thing is, this team should go in the right direction. I think they beat up the Twins for the division. I really do. Because this team has proven. Now, the downfall could be Tony La Russa.
Yes.
He could be the downfall.
Yes.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, who's the manager in Minnesota again? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's
Rocco.
Yeah,
it's Rocco, right? Rocco Baldelli, who's proven to be a very good manager in this league. So that is the only thing I think that stops the White Sox. But I think they just have so much talent that it just can't go unnoticed. That's why I got Chicago winning the Central in 2021. Go to Powder, then we'll go to Matty.
Yeah, I have to go White Sox. I have to agree with you. I think adding Lance Lynn, just put there, and Hendricks in the bullpen, the best closer in baseball. I think just you have, and then I think Garrett Crochet is going to have another really, really good year, being a lefty who throws 102. And I just think the White Sox just have too much talent and a lot of young talent. I just hope La Russa isn't so old school that Louis Bob and all of them just hate him and don't want to play for him. So I just think the White Sox are going to take the division, but I think the Twins are going to keep it close. And the Cleveland baseball team, because they still have Shane Bieber, are going to still be very competitive, and the Royals are sneaky. I think the Royals are very sneaky.
You think the Royals will actually be okay this year?
Pitching-wise, they're very suspect, but their offense is going to be one of the best offensives in all of baseball if they can stay healthy.
Okay. That's quite the take, but I'm looking forward to seeing that maybe come into fruition. Matty D, to close out our baseball talk tonight.
So you guys, you're right. The Chicago White Sox are probably the most interesting team going into 2020 because how loaded they are. Pretty much in all facets of baseball, like you said, except for one, like you said, Al, the manager. And for that reason, that's why I'm going with the Minnesota Twins. I think that is going to ultimately be the reason why they do not capture the AL Central crown. Is it's maybe it's not a fit, and I think maybe they bring in the right guy next year, and next year is the Chicago White Sox year. Reports already coming out of spring that La Russa is complaining about losses. And that's just not how these guys play nowadays. That's not the vibe of the league. And I couldn't have thought of a worse signing in terms of manager roster than that. So, and I think that's what ultimately going to bite them in the old behind.
I will throw in a bold take though. We didn't really talk about the Detroit Tigers. I think in 3 to 5 years, they're going to be back.
Yeah.
Especially with AJ Hinch leading the charge now. I think they're people forget that. We know that he had his stuff in Houston. We understand that. But AJ Hinch is still a very good manager. And I think that he's going to prove that with a new chance in Detroit. But that's just me. We'll see what happens. MLB opening day is 1 week away. I'm so excited. Real quick, Matty, before we transition, this has sort of been our Legends Lingo question that we've been asking everybody.
Okay.
What do you have the Red Sox record being this year?
All right, so my math's terrible. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think I put them at an 88-win team.
So 88 and 74?
Thank you.
Okay.
88-74, yeah.
Always trust the math teacher.
Yeah.
But yes.
I throw the alleys, you get the oops, baby.
That's it. That's the expression I use all the time. Love it. Yes. I had them a little over 500. I had them 83 and 79. I think that's a fair assessment based on last year. Powder, what was yours again? Didn't you have them?
I have them. I had them 85 and 77.
Okay, so right around the same. So 83, 85, 88. So mid to upper 80s. So we're not expecting anything crazy. So I just wanted to see where you were at, Matty. So you passed the test. Congratulations. But by the way, opening day is next week, fellas.
Oh, yeah.
So, Matty, I got to ask you something. Is there anything better than the freshly mowed grass at the ballpark on opening day?
No.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Not that there's nothing that's really coming to my mind, but maybe you could tell me something that may spark something. I don't know.
How about freshly groomed balls? Because
Like
our sponsors,
baseballs?
Not quite, but here,
Okay.
pay attention and you might learn something. Our sponsors, that's right, the Legends Single podcast is sponsored by our friends at Manscaped. Our sponsors at Manscaped, who are the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, are here to help you strike out your bush for good. It's a whole new balls game, ladies and gentlemen. And Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. So everybody, not just men, women, and everybody else, join the movement. You can get 20% off and free shipping with the code LLP at manscaped.com. Because I'm telling you right now, Matty, you're going to want to listen up to this. These products are no joke. They're so easy to use, and I personally have all the confidence in the world with the best tools for the job at Manscaped. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. That is otherwise known as the Lawnmower 3.0. And because of their ceramic blade and advanced skin-safe technology, your snags will be reduced with a close shave. We have the Lawnmower 3.0, which is simply the best hygiene tool for the modern man or woman. And it hits the sweet spot in every way for my balls personally. The Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver, as Powder's holding up the preserver right there. Oh boy. There we go. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant to keep your ball sticking to your leg from end to end. Both the Preserver and the Reviver will keep your testes fresh and clean. What a curveball from the norm when I'm at the ball game. I'm telling you, the Preserver is legit. There's also the Crop Reviver, which is a spray-on toner for your balls. It's made with soothing aloe and witch hazel extracts that will give your balls a boost. Manscaped even threw in their shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. And by the way, speaking of comfort, the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs are also included and will bring your boxer game to the next level. I play softball. Powder plays softball. Matty, do you play softball at all?
No, I used to. Not anymore.
But you played baseball, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't you wish you had Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs to help you? Because they will make sure that your thighs do not chafe at all. I'm telling you right now. Complete your top-to-bottom grooming game with the new refined cologne signature scent. By the way, look at that. Look at that craftsmanship. And then you open it up, which I'm going to do in a second. You open it up on the inside. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. So complete your top-to-bottom grooming game with the newly refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. With the same signature scent that's in all of Manscaped's formulas, this cologne is the perfect complement to the collection. Matty, you're married, right?
I am. Yes, I am.
Wouldn't you like to spice things up a little bit on date night? Throw a little of Manscaped's cologne on, maybe.
That sounds great. I could really use a little bit of sprucing to my game.
With the same signature scent that's in all of Manscaped's formulas, this cologne is the perfect complement to any collection. Talk about the ultimate utility man. Manscaped is like the Mike Trout of ball trimmers. Funny because we talked about Mike Trout earlier. 20% off and free shipping with the code LLP at manscaped.com. Hit the balls out of the park this season with the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. 2 more times. 20% off and free shipping with the code LLP at manscaped.com. One final time, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the promo code LLP. Baseball is back, so do not let your pubes get out of whack. Shout out to our good friends at Manscaped because they know how to make some good products for when you are getting ready and cleaned up. Whether you're going to work, whether you're going on a date, they got everything for you. So shout out to Manscaped. And by the way, we might have a new sponsor or two coming to the show very, very soon. Yep. So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, yeah.
Final little tidbits that we're going to talk about tonight. The NBA trade deadline is going to take place. So as we're recording on Tuesday, March 23rd, 7:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The NBA trade deadline is going to be on Thursday, March 25th, right around, I think, 3 o'clock. I'm pretty sure is the time. So the Boston Celtics. boy, do they need to make a move, and they need to make it soon. Because there's some rumors out there. So we'll talk about one rumor first. The Celtics have been reported to be the front runners for Orlando Magic power forward Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon has 2 more years left on his deal, so he has the rest of this season and next season before he becomes a free agent. Aaron Gordon is also 25 years old, making around 16 to 18 million. Marcus Smart's making about 13 to 14 million. So the numbers aren't really that different. My question to you guys is this. I love Marcus Smart. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I love Marcus Smart. But wouldn't you trade him at this point and maybe throw in a first-round pick or 2 to Orlando for Aaron Gordon if you can swing it?
I love Marcus Smart. I would trade him in general. I don't think I would trade him for Aaron Gordon, though.
Interesting. So hold that thought because I want to get back to that. But Powder, what's your thoughts on it really quick?
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Gordon is that impact player that the Celtics need that I think would put them over the top while losing Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart is a leader on the team and a grinder. And if you can get someone who is similar to that, but a little bit better, then that's who I would trade for, but not Aaron Gordon.
Okay. So Matty, going back to what you said. So why don't you want to trade him?
I would I think Powder nailed it because I think I would trade him if it's a clear upgrade. I just don't know if Aaron Gordon is that upgrade. He's injured quite often, and this is his first real elite season, and that's because the Orlando Magic was kind of running their offense through him and their other big in Vucevic, and that's just not how the Celtics will be able to do it given their wings. So I just don't think he's really a great fit, and I don't think he's a clear upgrade from Marcus Smart. Okay,
so those are fair points. But let me throw it to you this way. Would you still make that move if it meant one other move was coming? Because this was a trade theory that I threw on Couch Guy Sports Podcast earlier tonight. And Nick Qualia loved this. And he thought this was a great idea. Tristan Thompson. Okay. So Kevin O'Connor, who writes for, I believe it's The Ringer. He's the NBA writer for The Ringer. There was a podcast that came out and he reported it today that the Celtics are having problems with Tristan Thompson in the locker room. He's not a fit. Guys resent him. The word was literally resent. So that's a pretty strong word. Very rough. It sends tingles up the spine, and not in a good way.
No.
So if you got Aaron Gordon and trade away Marcus Smart and 2 first-rounders, but it also meant that you traded away Tristan Thompson. Now hear me out on this. Trade Tristan Thompson to Oklahoma City and bring back old friend Al Horford. Now, if you traded away Tristan Thompson and a pick, let's say a second-round pick, because Thompson was only here for a 2-year deal, and I think the second year was an option. So if you trade away Tristan Thompson, you bring in Al Horford, you bring in Aaron Gordon, you have a starting 5 now of Kemba, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Aaron Gordon, Al Horford, Daniel Tice and Robert Williams off your bench, Peyton Pritchard off your bench. I know you lose Smart. I understand that's a loss. But doesn't that deepen your team just a little bit more? Doesn't that give you Tice and Williams, especially off the bench, as good options at that point?
You're persuading me here, Al. You are.
It's feasible. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It could realistically happen. And Al Horford, by the way, remember this, guys. He was a Celtic. He bought into the Celtic system. He's a guy that can shoot from the outside. He's a guy that can defend. He's a guy that can do it all. And they need some veteran leadership in that locker room. Yeah. Love Jason Tatum, love Jaylen Brown, but they are still so young. I think they're 24 and 25 respectively or something along those lines. If I got the ages wrong, I apologize. But they're still entering their primes. They need that older veteran there to help them and get them to where they need to be. Now that I'm rethinking about it, I think Tatum's 23 and Brown's 24 or something like that. But
young though.
Brown is 24, and then I'll tell you what Tatum is.
And then Tatum would be 23 because Tatum came 1 year after. So you start to bring in those veteran pieces. Now, I'm not saying Aaron Gordon by himself is going to win you a championship. I know that. but he is a piece that when he's healthy, he's dynamic, he's explosive, and he can help you, especially on defense, where this Celtics team has lacked this season is defense, especially on switching screens. How many times have you watched the Celtics game, right? Where the Celtics get pick and rolled on, and then all of a sudden the ball's moving around them and they can't cover. They don't cover the 3-point shot at all. They don't cover threes at all. Aaron Gordon can help because he's athletic. He can help in switches. So I don't know. That's just me. I know I threw a lot at you guys. Process it for a second. I just want to know what your thoughts are on Marcus Smart, Tristan Thompson, Celtics in general. Powder, I'll start with you. Then I'll go to Matty. Just lay it on me, fellas.
Like I said, if they're going to get rid of Marcus Smart, they need to get another grinder. They need to get someone, because I feel like you knows it when he's out. The Celtics, they have a lot of leads in games, but they lose it at the end because they just don't have that presence in their lineup. So you want to trade Smart, which I think he will get you some talent because he's very good, and you add a pick or two into that, then you get something good. But you need someone who can help win those games in the later moments and keeps the team motivated in those moments.
Well, I'll tell you this real quick before Matty goes, Powder. In that supposed trade package to Orlando, Houston offered 2 first-round picks. Celtics matched that. Okay. So that's when you know Danny means business right now. Yeah. And he needs to do something, so he knows it. I'm sorry, Matty. Go ahead.
No worries. But, you threw a lot of good information out there. And, Celtics talk, trade talk, that's heating up. So there's a lot to unpack. But overall, I think, I agree with Powder. Just if you're going to trade Marcus Smart and he believes he's going to be dealt for, so the Ringer actually just put out a report this evening that, Smart's heard the rumors and believes he's going to be traded. So if this all heats up and this is the type of move that they make where it's kind of a lot of moving parts, but at the end, when the dust settles, you have a starting lineup of one that you mentioned. I think I'd be in for that. And there's something wrong just with the team. You know what I mean? It just feels like one day you're like, oh, is this guy to blame? And then the next guy, it's like, oh, is that guy to blame? And they're kind of just playing, blame roulette every night or every week, it feels like. And if Tristan Thompson is that dark cloud over the locker room, and, Marcus Smart has been a guy to ruffle feathers, and if his song is getting outplayed in that locker room, maybe it's time to move him as well and see if that helps, because you got the talent. And if you make the moves to not only reset the roster, but the locker room, it's something I can definitely get behind for the playoff run.
So here's the counterpoint that I would make to the two of you really quick. Marcus Smart is a grinder. We know that. And Boston loves the tough, hard-nosed, nose to the grindstone type players. But what good is it right now on a 20-21 team that if you finish the season right now, your first round matchup is looking like either Brooklyn or Milwaukee? If you get Brooklyn or Milwaukee the first round, you're probably losing. Either you're getting swept or you're losing in 5. Yeah. There's no way you're going to beat the Bucks. You have a better shot with, but the Nets, forget about it. The Nets, you'll be lucky to win 1 game. So I guess, again, my counterpoint would be winning. Yeah, Marcus Smart's a grinder. His shot selection's better. I don't think the timing of his shot selection, the shot clock has been better, but his overall shot selection is better. But to what point do we say, okay, Danny's got to make a move, but we don't want to trade any of our big impact guys? Because realistically, who else could we trade? The only other name would be Robert Williams, and I don't want to trade Robert Williams right now. I think he should be a starter. I really think that he's gonna start to hit his peak, and he's still so young and he's still so raw. He's good around the basket. He plays defense. He blocks shots. Mm-hmm. He's an intimidation factor in the paint. That's my whole thing with Robert Williams. So, and listen, and just to sort of round it up, because I know we got to get out of here in a few minutes, but you're not going to trade Romeo Langford because he doesn't play. Yeah. Carson Edwards doesn't play. Taco Fall doesn't play. Semi Ojeleye, you're not going to get much value for. Grant Williams might be a name you could float out there to maybe get a depth piece, but he's probably not going to get traded unless something crazy happens. You're not going to trade Jason. You're not going to trade Jalen. Kemba, you can't trade because Kemba's damaged goods at this point. So who's the only other name that makes sense?
Smart.
Marcus Smart. And they're not going to get rid of Daniel Tice either. I don't want him shooting threes. If that guy never shoots a 3 again for the rest of his life, I will be thrilled. But you need to make a move, and to make a move, you got to get rid of somebody good. I love these Twitter GMs, and Nick Wallace said the same thing on Couch Guy Sports Podcast. We love the Celtics GMs on Twitter that are like, oh, we'll give you Romeo Langford, Carson Edwards, and like 3 first-round picks. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
No.
So we'll see what happens. I think this team's going to look drastically different. I think so. As we're recording on Wednesday night, the Celtics are playing the Bucks. I think that's the last game you're going to see this group together because change is coming. Yeah. And I think it's coming quick. And we're going to see a move. I'm going to call it right now. I think the Celtics are going to make a move by 12:30 on Thursday. I think they get a deal done. That's just me. Any final Celtics thoughts?
No, I agree with what you just said in terms of the day and timing, but something to look out for, just a little like alarm, is what the lineup looks like. If all of a sudden Marcus Smart sits, someone who maybe Robert Williams is, a DNP, something like that, then that they don't want him getting hurt right before they're dealt.
Yeah, they're going to be gone. There's no doubt about it. Powder, any final thoughts?
None Celtics related.
Any final points in general?
Yeah, Matty and both you and Al, you can kind of chime on this, but I don't know if you saw, but Zach Gallen, probably the ace. I know Matt comes with the D-backs, but I think Zach Gallen's going to be the ace of that staff. Got hurt, I think it was yesterday or Sunday, swinging a bat. And I was one of the biggest, I want to keep the NL with no DH because I thought the strategy was better. But then once I saw it with last year in 2020 with the DH in the NL and how much more fun the game is with having a DH in both leagues, I am 110% for DH. And seeing a pitcher of his caliber get hurt, swinging back, doing something he shouldn't really be doing in spring training, it just goes to show you that there should be a DH in both leagues. And the owners, they want to save money because they know if they have a DH, they have to pay an extra guy more money. So I see why the owners don't want to do it, but I think it's going to happen in 2022 is there's going to be a universal DH throughout all of Major League Baseball.
I love that. Just make it a thing. Let the pitchers just focus on pitching. Plain and simple. Matty, I don't know if you want to throw anything in real quick.
Yeah, just something on top of that. I mean, is there a worse relationship in all the sports, the players union and the MLB owners? I mean, this year, just in this offseason, you had one side, decline the universal DH because they want to use it as a bargaining chip. And then the other side, goes ahead and turns down the expanded playoffs, which everybody loved last year. Because, again, they're going to want to trade that in the offseason. And I agree with you, Powder. Again, we've agreed a lot tonight. You're a smart guy, But, yeah, I can't wait for that universal DH in 2022.
Yeah.
They need it badly. By the way, one more little Celtics tidbit, just because I just found this, and I'm gonna laugh at this as I'm reading this. The Atlanta Hawks asked the Celtics about the availability of Jaylen Brown. Boston made it clear that Brown, quote, was not going anywhere unless Atlanta was looking to include Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter.
Well, that would be Hall. Yeah, if you could do that's a Hall.
That's if you want. I mean, Atlanta. What are we doing here? I mean, I know you're fourth in the East right now somehow, but buddy, pal, when was the last time you were relevant? The Josh Smith days?
Oh, Josh Smith, yeah, good pull. Good pull.
My goodness,
Sharif Abdul-Rahim or whatever.
Yeah, we're just gonna end on that note. Oh my goodness, this episode's gone off the rails. Well, Matty, this was your tryout. We appreciate you coming on. No matter what, we will have you on again, whether it's as a co-host or a guest. You're going to be definitely on when we talk baseball, 100%. There's no doubt about that. Any final words that you want to say?
No, I just want to say it was a blast hanging out with you guys and talking some sports. And 2 days away from the trade deadline and a week away, pretty much, from the MLB opening day. And I'm a sports guy, so I am very happy right now. I'm a very happy camper.
Me too. I'm very happy. Powder, any final thoughts before we sign off for the night?
No, just be on lookout for my next 2 articles, my last 2 predictions for the American League West and NL East.
All right, American League West, NL East articles coming from Powder, fantasy baseball, and much more coming from Matty B. Miscellaneous coming from me. Could be Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox, whatever. I wrote a Last Chance U article a few weeks ago.
We could do a whole podcast on Last Chance U, so I'm not even going to get into it.
Oh, listen, we could talk off air about Last Chance U.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts, but as always, check out everything. Again, couchguysports.com, podcasts, blogs, YouTube channel, Twitch channel, you name it, we have it. Go check out Matty Desrosiers podcast, High Heat Fantasy Baseball podcast presented by Couch Guy Sports. It's him, Kevin Perdios from last week who we had on. So if you didn't listen to that episode, listen to that one as well. Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping with the promo code LLP. We have a few sponsorships coming down the pipeline.
I have one next week.
Next week. So be on the lookout next week for a new Legends Lingo sponsor. But if nothing else, Matty Desrosiers at the bottom, Tom Powder Cadmus at the top right there. I am your host, Al Nahigian. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Legends Lingo, please, and all the other podcasts. Give them a rating subscription. They're working hard, man. Show them some love. Give them a 5-star review. Thank you for listening to episode 113, and we'll see you next week for episode 114.
Yes, sir.
Have a good